Breaking tonight, a dramatic military development is drawing global attention as reports emerge describing a massive missile barrage directed toward a United States aircraft carrier operating in international waters. According to defense analysts reviewing radar timelines and satellite detection data, a coordinated launch involving 74 ballistic missiles was detected over a span of roughly 11 minutes. The reported target was the USS Gerald R. the largest and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier ever constructed by the United States Navy. The USS Gerald R. represents more than a warship. It is a floating projection of national power, weighing approximately 100,000 tons and carrying more than 5,000 personnel, including sailors, aviators, and support crews. Its flight deck supports a full carrier air wing composed of advanced fighter aircraft, surveillance platforms, and electronic warfare systems. When such a vessel is deployed to a region experiencing geopolitical tension, it serves as both a deterrent and a symbol of stability for allied nations. Military planners across the world understand that an aircraft carrier strike group is protected by multiple layers of defense. These include radar networks, missile interceptors, escorting cruisers and destroyers, and close-range weapon systems. Any adversary considering an attack must calculate not only the power of the ship itself, but also the sophisticated defensive architecture surrounding it. In this developing situation, early warning reportedly came from space-based infrared sensors designed to detect the intense heat signatures produced when ballistic missile engines ignite. These detection systems are capable of identifying launches within seconds and transmitting alerts to naval units in the region. Once the initial signals were received, information would have been transmitted rapidly to the carrier strike group and nearby Allied defense networks. From that moment, the sequence of events moved extremely quickly. Missile trajectories were analyzed by automated defense systems capable of calculating interception solutions faster than any human operator could perform manually. Modern naval combat systems integrate radar tracking, satellite intelligence, and predictive algorithms to determine where incoming threats may travel and when defensive interceptors must be launched. According to defense analysis, the 74 missiles involved in the barrage were not identical weapons. Instead, the salvo appeared designed to create multiple simultaneous challenges for defensive systems. Some missiles likely followed conventional ballistic paths, while others may have used modified flight profiles intended to reduce interception windows. The diversity of trajectories and speeds is a common strategy in modern missile doctrine because it forces defenders to respond across several layers at once. The first layer of defense against ballistic missiles generally occurs high above the atmosphere. Interceptor systems are designed to collide with incoming warheads using kinetic impact rather than explosive charges. These interceptors travel at extraordinary speeds and rely on advanced sensors to guide them toward their targets. When a successful interception occurs, the incoming missile is destroyed in space, breaking apart before it can descend toward its intended objective. However, not every interception attempt occurs in the same layer of the defensive network. Additional missile systems are positioned to engage threats during their descent phase if they pass through the initial outer defenses. These interceptors operate within the atmosphere and are capable of engaging targets traveling at extremely high velocities. Closer to the carrier itself, additional protective systems stand ready. Escort ships within the carrier strike group carry their own radar arrays and missile launchers, creating a defensive perimeter that extends for many miles around the central vessel. These ships share tracking data and coordinate responses through integrated battle management systems. If a missile were to pass through those outer defensive layers, the final line of protection involves close-in weapon systems. These rapid-firing defense cannons are designed to track incoming objects automatically and engage them within seconds if necessary. Their purpose is to destroy or disable threats that have reached the immediate vicinity of the fleet. Defense analysts examining the reported missile barrage say the scenario highlights the complexity of modern naval warfare. Launching 74 missiles within a short time frame appears intended to overwhelm defensive systems by forcing them to track and engage many objects simultaneously. This tactic is often referred to as saturation. The objective is not always to ensure that every missile reaches its target, but to create enough pressure on defensive networks that at least a small percentage might penetrate. In many cases, the outcome of such engagements depends on the ratio between offensive missiles and defensive interceptors. Ballistic missiles can be extremely expensive, but interceptor systems often cost even more per unit. When large numbers of interceptors are required to stop incoming threats, the logistical burden of replenishing those defensive inventories becomes an important strategic consideration. Military observers emphasize that aircraft carriers rarely operate alone. The USS Gerald R normally sails as the centerpiece of a larger carrier strike group. This group may include guided missile cruisers, guided missile destroyers, supply ships, and sometimes allied naval vessels. Each component contributes sensors, missiles, and protective coverage that strengthen the overall defense posture of the fleet. Because of this layered protection, attacking a carrier strike group requires extremely precise coordination. Launch platforms must be positioned carefully, flight paths must be calculated accurately, and communication between units must remain secure. Even small timing errors can reduce the effectiveness of a missile barrage, allowing defensive systems more opportunity to intercept incoming threats. The reported launch pattern suggests that the missiles were fired from several dispersed locations, rather than a single launch site. Mobile launchers mounted on trucks or concealed within rugged terrain can move frequently, making them difficult to track using traditional reconnaissance methods. Such mobility complicates the task of neutralizing launch systems before they are used. Strategic analysts note that mobile missile platforms have become a central feature of modern military doctrine in many countries. Their ability to relocate quickly allows them to survive longer during conflict scenarios. This mobility also increases uncertainty for opposing forces, attempting to identify and target launch positions. For naval commanders, responding to a missile launch requires rapid decision-making. The command center aboard a carrier and its escort ships monitors incoming data streams from radar arrays, satellite networks, and allied intelligence sources. Once a launch is detected, defensive procedures activate almost immediately. During such moments, the pace of events is measured in seconds rather than minutes. Officers responsible for tactical decisions rely heavily on automated systems that provide real-time threat assessments. Human operators verify the information, authorize defensive actions, and monitor the engagement as interceptors are launched. If multiple missiles approach simultaneously, defensive systems must determine which threats pose the highest risk. Prioritization algorithms help identify trajectories that appear most likely to reach the fleet. Interceptors are then assigned accordingly, creating a coordinated defensive response across several ships within the strike group. In the case of the USS Gerald R. Analysts believe that several layers of interceptors would have been launched in rapid succession once the incoming missiles were confirmed. Each interceptor attempts to destroy its target before it can reach the next defensive perimeter. When a successful interception occurs, fragments of the destroyed missile often disperse harmlessly over the ocean. However, even debris must be tracked carefully to ensure that no remaining fragments threaten the fleet. Military experts point out that the true significance of such a missile engagement extends beyond whether any single missile reaches its target. Instead, analysts study how effectively defensive systems perform under stress, how many interceptors are required, and how quickly defensive inventories can be replenished. Aircraft carriers remain among the most powerful naval assets ever created. They allow the United States to deploy aircraft anywhere in the world without relying on foreign airfields. This capability enables rapid response to crises, humanitarian missions, and military operations when necessary. Because carriers represent such a significant concentration of capability, they also attract attention as potential targets in hypothetical conflict scenarios. Many countries have invested heavily in missile technology designed to challenge carrier strike groups. These developments have driven continued innovation in missile defense systems and naval tactics. Defense planners regularly conduct exercises to prepare for situations involving large missile salvos. These simulations allow crews to practice coordinated responses and test the resilience of integrated defense networks. Lessons learned from these exercises inform upgrades to radar systems, interceptor technologies, and command procedures. Strategic stability in many regions depends on the ability of naval forces to deter conflict while remaining prepared for sudden escalation. The presence of a carrier strike group often signals a nation's commitment to maintaining freedom of navigation and protecting international trade routes. At the same time, military leaders understand that technological competition continues to evolve rapidly. Missile guidance systems, propulsion methods, and maneuverable warhead technologies are advancing every year. Each improvement creates new challenges for defensive planners. For that reason, analysts reviewing the 74 missile launch scenario emphasize that modern naval defense relies on constant adaptation. Surveillance networks must remain vigilant, interceptor inventories must remain sufficient, and crews must maintain readiness for unexpected developments. Even when defensive systems perform successfully, such incidents offer valuable data for military strategists. Understanding how quickly threats are detected, how accurately interceptors perform, and how efficiently command systems coordinate responses helps refine future defense planning. As global tensions fluctuate, the importance of reliable early warning systems continues to grow. Satellites, radar installations, and electronic intelligence platforms all contribute to the detection network that protects deployed naval forces. In the coming days, defense officials and analysts will likely examine available data carefully to determine exactly how the missile launches unfolded, how defensive systems responded, and what lessons can be drawn from the encounter. For now, the USS Gerald R remains a central symbol of American naval strength. Its presence in international waters reflects decades of technological innovation and strategic planning, designed to maintain stability in regions facing uncertainty. The reported missile launch sequence serves as a reminder that modern security challenges involve complex interactions between offense and defense, technology and strategy, and rapid decision-making under pressure. While the outcome of any such encounter depends on many variables, one fact remains clear. Aircraft carriers and the forces that protect them continue to represent a crucial element of global military balance. As new information emerges and analysts continue to study the events surrounding the 74 missile launches, the world will watch closely to understand what this moment reveals about the evolving dynamics of modern naval warfare.